So this is the thing. Data centers in the United States, more than half of them has been delayed or canceled in 2026. Of course, it's really bad for companies like Oracle and every single AI company, but something I haven't seen many of these outlets talk about is where they are going. Then, for example, yeah, they have problems doing all that in the United States, where they are lost and there's all this conversation. But in the other parts of the world, where they are more willing to accept AI money, what they are happening. One of these countries, sadly, is my country, Mexico. Mexico um is being eyed for many companies, for example, Google, to be in a major place for data centers, seeing as it's getting harder and harder and harder for to build data centers inside of United States. For example, wait, let me see where. But of course, and the thing is like, sorry, I am trying to find the my note. So yeah, that's the thing, and not only here, in Mexico, also many other parts of the planet. Specifically, like what comes top of mind is from one side we have India that had an investment of $8,000 billion, and also we have Saudi Arabia. Sorry for the pronunciation. I know I am saying that bad, but anyways, they, if you don't remember, they promised like a high tech sci-fi city that they are going to build, but they said no, we're not going to build it. We are going to use a space for data centers. They were never going to build that city because it's like too much of a sci-fi thing to be real. Anyways, so with all this stuff, the big question is, do you know where is a good place to build a data center? If Let's explain this, like a data center in essence is like a big computer, basically. Like in a really, broad average things, like a big computer. So imagine your PC, the gamer, your PC, your gamer PC, all the parts they have. One of the important part of computers in general is cooling. Why? Because computers need electricity, and when they operate and they all do this computer power, they generate energy, and that energy can be is heat. The problem is if they overheat, it can basically ruin the whole computer. It can overexplode. It can come ruin the components, melt the parts that it's under. So it's bad. So you need something to cool it down. There's many ways. Some of the computers use water. Most of our computers we use in our house use fans. For example, the Xbox, it has a fan. Also, the PlayStation, also the computers, your laptops. So you use fans. That's it, honestly. Like, of course, like more smaller devices don't have also a cooling system, but it's less. They make less noise, so there's less or they have less, not necessarily less control, but they have more control, are more silent. For example, in phones, tablets, whatever. In the case of a data center, you need no, you not only need the computer parts, the GPU, the memory cards, whatever, to run, but also you need them to run indefinitely, constantly be running, meaning they constantly need to cool down. They constantly generate energy, heat. They constantly eat energy. They constantly need cooling. So where do you think is a good place to build it? Yes, in a desert. So like that's the problem with building data centers in Saudi Arabia. It's in a desert. So if the problem is the heat, and you're going to build a data center in one of the hottest places, one of the hottest environments possible, being a desert, yeah, you're going to have a big problem because cooling the computers also takes energy, also takes money. So basically, you will need a lot much money to cool down a desert for your data center. And it's the same, for example, here in Mexico, because most of the data centers are built in the north of the country. And in north of the country, it's really hot. Right now, I live in Mexico City. Right now, it's so hot. Honestly, I don't know. We see like a heat wave this whole week has been so hot, and we are in the more in south, so quote unquote the cooler part of the country. But still, imagine I can't imagine how hot is in the north, and there is where they want to build data centers, and also in the hottest parts of the United States. So yeah, that's a really bad place. For example, most of data centers, sorry, most of the data centers, specifically in from Facebook, there is one that is built like in a lake. One, they can take the water from the lake to cool their data centers. Two, is in a really cool environment. It's in like in a forest, something like that. But also, that lake is near a town, and guess what? Um, these data centers generate a lot of waste, so they throw that waste into the water, contaminating the water for the town. Yay! In the case of Mexico, let me hear you. Let me hear you. Let me um let me read you this part of a Mexican article. The article is from Expansión. Sorry, I'm going to read it first in Spanish and then in English. Expansión. Datos Data centers en México enfrentan retos. El más urgente, la falta de energía. El país busca alcanzar un 1500 miliwatts en centros de datos hacia 2030. Hoy apenas suma 279 miliwatts y le falta de energía, la energía de poner, sorry, perdón, la falta de energía pone en duda la visibilidad del crecimiento del sector. Now, I am curious about something. So now in English, sorry. Data centers in Mexico have many challenges. The most urgent, the lack of energy. The country is looking to achieve 150 milliwatts in data centers for 2014. Hoy, sorry, today only have 279 milliwatts, and they lack the energy to show the durability of the growth of the center. So the problem is, in the case of Mexico, we don't have the energy for data centers. So number one, yeah, the problems you have right now in the United States of my electric bill is going up is going to be 10 times worse here in Mexico. And in the case of in Mexico, and you can say, well, maybe if they build their own um, energy infrastructure, that's the same. That's go with the government asking permission, all that stuff, for example. So yeah, it's not so easy, but the problem is that they have to do this because in the United States it's getting harder and harder and harder and harder because of the all social backlash. Here in Mexico, there is no this backlash. Honestly, the conversation of data centers does not exist. That's it. Many of these many of these governments, many of these people really don't see. They only see the money. They only see the United States is making money from AI. You want to be part of this. That's it. So yeah, that's for example why I'm making this channel in English. That's why All these podcasts, even though I am Mexican, I live in Mexico City, I am making this podcast in English because in Mexico the conversation it does not exist. Yeah. Mm. And I also want to talk about the a little bit about the Microsoft OpenAI project named. Wait, I am looking for the article. Let me find it. I am looking for the article. Sorry. Here. So there is this project that Microsoft and OpenAI is you want to build. The project is Stargate project. Basically, it's like a huge data center. Like it's going to be like a campus full of data centers. The problem with that is that they need a lot of energy for that project Stargate. Um, One of those problems being the energy. Sam Altman wants to. He's promising to build uh, nuclear reactors for that, and actually, from his own pocket, is investing in nuclear fusion energy. Now, of course, I am not an expert. I am not an expert. I will I will make the playlist, and there is a video there. I want you all to watch. What that explains all this better than I could. But the thing is, the thing about the nuclear fusion is that this is something that has been promised from decades now, and simply we haven't achieved it. We actually don't even know if it's possible at all. Fuck. So yeah, that this is the place where Sam Altman is basing all of this. I made the numbers one day. I forgot to save them. Basically, what this data center, the project target, will need in energy will be basically three New Yorks. I'm not joking. They will need the equals. The thing is, like, they needed. Sorry, sorry, sorry. They to build this data center, they will use three New Yorks of energy to to just exist, to just be there. We have this news breaking this from 9th of April, so almost a month. Breaking OpenAI is pausing its target project in the UK due to high electricity costs and regulatory environment. Remember what I told you. Remember what I told you. The guy is betting for some type of electricity, some type of energy that does not exist, and also key they are basically burning money. I want to read this comment. It's not related with this, but anyways, aside from the energy cost, the regulation OpenAI is having trouble with the factor of copyright law because everything this data AI is built of is from stolen um is from stolen um it's from stolen data, stolen everything. That's another conversation for another video. But also I want to share this comment from one executive from Nvidia. The cost of compute is far beyond the cost of the employees, says one executive from NVIDIA. So this is what's happening. The data centers are getting too big. LMs are hitting a ceiling where simply they cannot grow anymore because they have stolen. Like, I don't joke. I'm not joking. The biggest art collection in the world right now, and the biggest art collection of music, art, novels, books, movies, TV shows, whatever, is on those data centers. It's not in a vault of a rich person. It's in those data centers. Just think about it for a second, you know. And that's what is happening. Data centers are too expensive, and even if they go to green electricity, there will still be too expensive to exist. And guess what? This only means one thing: bubble.